I told you this guy's a genius.
Self-proclaimed, maybe.
Well, as long as it works for him.
Exactly my point.
Awesome.
I will press the button now.
Nice, right? It's a very weird setting, but you can include I will press the button now because it's already recorded 11:15, or you can set it to that it already pre-records 15 or 30 seconds. I think that comes in handy. Oh yeah, if you have like a Bluetooth. I actually have that. I have a Bluetooth thingy. You've already seen me make coffee, but I enjoy showing you because I feel so lonely. If I ever would be with a woman, I actually and honestly don't know. But there is a chance that I would simply continue like this. Oh my god, people. I don't think you just heard that. But my back is screwed from all the sitting, which I feel like I have to do in order to continue living. Okay, one important step. Clean, okay? You have to clean. I mean, my apartment is fairly clean already. But like, all these crumbs, like knives, I just did this. I can just, you probably have a kitchen with a proper sink. Rinse your shit. Rinse it. Put things where they belong. That's all. I mean, this is not something you have to do all the time. This is not something you have to do always right away, but I do believe it makes sense. And what do we say when we stare hopelessness into the eye? We say, I never give up. And then the question that's quite often, it's a follow-up question. What don't we give up on? Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like you wanted to do, that's it. I don't give up on life, which is why I keep on living. However hard it may be, however tough it is, that nobody understands how I feel. And maybe they do, maybe they just can't express it. I think a lot of people feel like me actually. They don't really want to live well. Just try to be me for some time. I mean, I'm just saying, I had visions, and I'm trying to bring them about. And I can literally do nothing else. I can literally do nothing else. I have seen parts of the future, but I don't know what is real of this. And that's the problem. So I have to choose. And that's the nice thing. That's the nice thing, that I can choose. And there were women that I thought, you know, I'm gonna choose you. And then they came back, and then they said things that really irritated me. And I said, okay, I choose myself then. I mean, if this is what it's gonna be like with you, I mean, women that say like, yeah, we're only ever gonna have sex if I want it. Yeah. That's not my kind of relationship. Because if we need sex as a couple, and you just want to feel powerful like a little child, and keep yourself to yourself, then do that. But then do it really without me, because if this is about your selfish trip, and you just want to look good next to a man with a beard, then there's nothing for me to say anymore other than, you know, enjoy. You know, just find a guy who wants to suck up to your crap. And maybe it's not crap, right? Maybe it's really nice. And I'm sure you've got a lot to give. This is adequate in terms of sweetness. I'm just gonna let it stand later. I think I'm going to maybe blend it or smoosh it or squash it or whatever. Okay, I can turn this on already. So I'm a little bit stuck, as you may have realized, I have realized, on incidents that has happened previously with other kind of women. Yeah, I'm always thinking they probably think I'm peeing all the time. It's just the water filter, right? Because I turn it on, it goes through the filter, then it comes through here, and there's a ceramic thing that creates turbulences, and it takes apart the energetic clusters that build in water, because it goes through all these pipes and stuff. It has negative energy. You know, when it goes through like this, it just there's a ceramic thing in there called a turbulencer or something. And yeah, afterwards it always keeps dripping, so I put this underneath. And that just helps me. Okay, so I'm quite stuck on all these incidents that have happened with women. And I'm still wondering if there will be a woman at some point that has the balls to open up to me and say, hey, I think I actually like that guy. for whatever reason, right? Because you can't explain love. Not really. I mean, you can try to explain love, but you cannot really explain it. So if somebody falls in love with you, there is certainly, you have to do some cleansing, because the heat is building up in this thing. Because I'm building up a lot of anger. It's basically all there is these days, just anger. Oh yeah, tea. I want to make tea.
Waka wiki. YTT. The YTT warriors are inviting you for a feast. In the dungeon of heaven.
Hey, I basically killed. I passively killed. Because I was involved. I set up the trap. And the flies all went in. And that's basically what you do as a content creator. You set a trap for people, to fall into whatever you've created. And you just have to make sure that you don't turn into, I'm just gonna say it, Hitler. Because I think we all agree that his ways are not what we want. It's more like Gandhi. But then in a, let's do the split between, let's say, maybe somebody like Johnny Depp and maybe somebody like Gandhi. So have a bit of rock and roll and then have a bit of organized ceremonial stuff, I don't just want to be, I don't want to be some kind of holy person, because I think that would just make me a phony. And I know, for instance, just from I don't know where, that Gandhi said to his wife at some stage, let's only have sex to procreate, which means to have children, which I don't really understand. I mean, if you have a wife next to you and you love each other, I mean, at the moment, I have to be honest, I'm quite disgusted by the idea of having sex. Which helps me to stay away from it. But if there would be a woman and it would feel really nice, because you can literally sense, when you meet a woman, you can sense if she's done her spiritual cleansing or not. You can sense it. Hot. Wow. You can sense it. And that disgusts me. Because most women don't do that. They're completely ignorant of the fact that you can actually clean yourself spiritually, right? That you can go into nature in bare feet. And I've already talked about this. Hey, that's gonna be my last with this stevia sugar stuff. Yeah. I like this cup. Looks so cute. I've already talked about this, that I met this woman and she was like, yeah. She was just hinting on we could have tantric sex. And it's not about just judging people and say, you disgust me. It's just about seeing what is. And what I saw, was that she had really a lot of energy trapped in her legs. And I told her, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, just start walking barefoot. Yeah. When I tell you how I said things, I never said it like this. I mean, I said it, but not like this. Yeah, to be honest, I don't want to make tea now. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna take you with me. Jesus, stop clinging so much. Right? Please, stop clinging so much. Because this is stressing me. Because if it boils over, this thing doesn't stop. And then everything goes everywhere. It's nice, of course, but it's also a bit annoying. You know, I don't know, something's building up in my stomach. Just have to get it out now. And that's why I will continue with this. Anyway, and I just realized, you know, whoever she is, she's simply not ready. You know, whoever she is, she's simply not ready. And that's all the women that I've met after I've, let's just call it, awakened. I haven't, that's something you have to understand. You cannot awaken unless you want to. And when you wanted to awaken, because you thought, what is this? I mean, this is not life, this is just shit. And then you wake up. And then suddenly you're here and you have to take responsibility because you realize that you've been a part of whatever you didn't like. That you helped create this because you failed to understand how to set boundaries. Well, then it's your place to say, you know, I acknowledge my part in whatever's been going on. That includes society. And I take myself out of it to a certain degree. And I help change this thing. Oh, I have one more after that. Nice. Oh, I just inhaled it again. Wow. It's a nice sweetness. Got really used to this. And then what do? Well, you take responsibility. Not all of it at once. You take a bit more responsibility, a bit more responsibility, a bit more responsibility. And if you are being given insights of the mind to understand, you know, for instance, oh wow, it's too fast, how a revolution could work. A peaceful revolution. Then, you know, it's your job to think about these things. Maybe you don't have to be John Connor. I'm just saying Terminator 2. Maybe you don't have to be... who else is there? Gandhi, right? Maybe you don't have to be, but maybe you just have to tell them this is how it could be done if you wanted to do it. So you can also look at how much responsibility can I take, but also how much am I willing to take. And you know, that's a tough one because you don't know, right? I mean, that's the whole point of not knowing. You know I have certain abilities. But how am I going to use these abilities? How am I going to use these abilities? No, that's what you have to decide. That's your choice. Who you are going to invest your energy into. And I'm trying to invest as much as I can into nature and help nature to heal, if you know what I mean. Just try to help society to also find their way back into nature. But I mean, I just know how much time and effort it took me to get used to being in nature again. You know, in the beginning you're just afraid of everything. And that means that, you know, it's up to you. It's up to you to make that choice. Do you want to go into nature? You know, yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. And Me, myself, I'm irritated. What's this? Because I don't want to go into nature every day. And that's a choice I can make. Yeah? That's a choice I can make every day. And I believe there's beauty to that. That I can choose now. You know, I can choose. Do I want to go into nature? You know, I'm dying in here. But it's a choice. And that's what you have to get. It's a choice that I'm in here. Basically killing myself. Being alone. You know, I'm not killing myself. This is for slicing ginger, for nothing else. This is for slicing vegetables. And now I make tea. Because I actually want to live. I actually do want to go into nature, but it's just hard. Because I also have to find the time. I cannot just run around in nature all the time. Because if I record videos, I also have to render them. And that's what I'm doing now. And, you know, I'm just storing these videos then on my hard drive now because I've got no Wi-Fi. And it's obviously also good because if I would have Wi-Fi, trust me, you know, all the time there come these movies up in my mind. Shrek, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Chocolat with Johnny Depp. It's a very nice movie. I've watched them, The Matrix, you know, I can watch them over and over again. But every time I sit down and watch a movie, I get bored. I mean, I had these stages where I was with women and we met and it was really nice and we wanted to watch a movie, or I wanted to. I don't know who suggested it. And then in the middle of the movie, I just turned it off so that I could just focus on the woman instead and just cuddle with her. I mean, if you're stuck on watching movies all day, or all the time, well, then it's tough to complain that your wife doesn't have sex with you because you helped create this kind of relationship. This relationship of distance. And it's going to be tough to change that because now your wife got used to it. Yeah, you never wanted to cuddle. You know, in all these 40 years of marriage that we had. You know, I'm just speaking for other people now. You never wanted to cuddle. So why do you want to cuddle now? I mean, do you really want to cuddle? Oh, now you suddenly want to cuddle. Well, you never wanted to cuddle before. When I said to you, please take me in your arms, you couldn't do it. Well, can I hold it over you? That it was hard for you to open up. And now that you suddenly open up, you know, I reject you. It's like, what? You know, this is how weird women are. You know, they really love you, but they also can't be. Because they're afraid to lose you. And that's the worst place to be in. Yeah, I don't have a spoon now. You know, I don't want to go back. I can just take my hands, right? Right, it's like, I roughly know it's about trusting yourself. And if you are in a relationship with a woman or a man and you know you really love them, but they just cannot open up to you, well, what are you supposed to do? I mean, that's a good question. It depends. Well, all you can do is try, but if they don't want it, then there's always the option to say, you know, I'm just gonna take my distance now because obviously you don't get me. And yes, we had children, you know, some parents are like birds. Some parents are like birds. And some birds stay together. And some birds separate again. You know, some parents are maybe like chimpanzees, right? You have a child that's being raised in the group. Maybe some parents are like jaguars. You meet to have sex and then the woman is on her own. And you cannot force what you created onto other people. So it's best to, let's say you got pregnant because you had a hookup at a party and you were drunk, and then you wake up the next day, you don't know who it is, and suddenly you're pregnant. Well, tough. Well, then you can try to lure another man into your life and have him sort out your mess, or you just from the beginning say, I'm just gonna sort it out myself. You know, I'm not gonna run around and look for someone else, but if someone comes, it's good. But if nobody comes, it's also good. And that's how I'm trying to live my life at the moment. I say, I try to not cling to any woman, but I know what I like. You know, I've met women, and I know what I liked, what parts I liked for myself, the way I live, or I want to live, or can imagine myself to live. Well, and then it's up to the woman also to show me that she wants it. Because, you know, I know how to engage with my fear, but a lot of people do not. I know how to open up if I want to. You know, I can do it at will. You know, I can switch my perspective from I hate you to, you know, to kind of like, you know, I'm a little bit reserved with you. Why? Because, you know, I know that you may not know what you're doing. So I just leave you to figure it out. Because I already know what I want in my life, and that's a woman that wants me, only me. And that woman would go to any length to come to me. And if she doesn't do that, then she's not the woman that anyone thought she was, right? And, you know, I'm not a saint. That's just what I'm saying. I'm not a saint. I'm not Mr. Nice Guy. I'm not Mr. Perfect. You know, I'm Mr. Challenge. And that's hard also, because if you love someone and you know they need the challenge to grow, then you have to like sometimes keep them away. And I've seen relationships where it was so obvious how much they loved their partner, but they still made the choice, you know, until here and no further. Just gonna create some distance now. But if you create the distance because it's getting too hard, you're going to jeopardize the relationship. And I see so many people doing that. You know, they got married, they had children, and then they separate. And then I often ask myself, why do they do this? Well, because you cannot. If somebody doesn't want to, simply doesn't want to, you can only support them to a certain degree. And how far that is, you have to ask yourself that. Can you be strong for someone that you love? So can you remain in a place of, you know, I think there's still hope, you know? There's so much hope.